Today on Virtual Justice with Judge Faith.
You have brought Mr. Trey Fields to court today. You are suing for the return of your dog, Biscuit.
We were on a break, and I started seeing an ex. He won't give Biscuit back.
Let me look at the evidence. Ms. Morgan writes, can you keep Biscuit for a couple of weeks just until I find a place? You say, yeah, sure, 2 weeks max. You're not really that enthused about having Biscuit around more than 2 weeks. If you want to stay connected with Ms. Morgan, then stay connected in other ways, but it can't be by holding the dog hostage and holding it over her head.
For the first time, we're bringing justice to you. Your location is the courtroom, and the truth has nowhere to hide.
That tells me all I need to know. I understand you don't like each other. I don't care.
Judge Faith, a former criminal prosecutor, legal analyst, and now creator of the first courtroom where justice has no walls, filters, or boundaries. Only truth. Virtual Justice with Judge Faith.
You're watching a special 2-week preview of Virtual Justice with Judge Faith. Want access to brand new cases and weekly live discussions with me? Stick around. I'll tell you how. Miss Layla Morgan, you have brought Mr. Trey Fields.
Yes, Your Honor.
To court today. You say that you are suing for the return of your dog, Biscuit. And I assume, Mr. Fields, that Biscuit is who you're holding
Yes, Your
in
Honor.
court today?
Yes, this is Mr. Biscuit.
Okay, why don't you give me some background, Ms. Morgan? As I understand from your complaint, the two of you were in a relationship and Biscuit was a part, that is such a cute name, by the way, for the dog. Biscuit was a part of your relationship and something happened and now you've had to
Thank you.
bring a lawsuit to get Biscuit back according to you.
Well, we were in a relationship for 4 years, and during year 2, we adopted Biscuit. And I paid for everything. I paid for the license. I've paid for the vet bills. I paid to get Biscuit neutered. I've taken care of everything: the food, his clothing, his bedding, the entire deal. And we both wanted a dog, but I was the one that was proactive and went ahead and did it. And Trey was on board. And it was all good for a while. And then in year 3, things started to fall apart. We were on a break, and I started seeing an ex. And now I left Trey, and I'm looking for an apartment that will house pets because it's kind of hard to find a dog-friendly apartment. And Trey and I kind of rekindled our friendship. And I knew he liked the dog and got along with the dog, so I asked him if he could watch Biscuit for a couple of weeks until I get straightened out and I find an apartment. And now he won't give Biscuit back.
Mr. Fields, I want to hear a response from you before we talk specifically
Yeah.
about Biscuit. Everything she said about your relationship and the timeline, is that accurate, sir? Give me a little background.
Yeah, I mean it's accurate. We were together, for almost 4 years. Like she said, 2 years in, we adopted the dog. The dog was basically our child, and we had a great time. It was wonderful, except for every time she had to leave, every time there was something more important, the dog would get dumped on me, and that's fine. That's fine, but she claims that she's all this and that, and this dog is truly attached to me.
That's not
So,
true. That's
yeah,
not
it
true.
really is.
Well, here's
Look,
what's
he was tasked
interesting.
with taking care of the dog for 2 weeks. That's it.
And that
And
2 weeks turned into 4.
Miss
And to
Morgan,
say that I
Mr.
just
Fields,
I leave the dog and dump the dog, that's
I know
not right.
people are so, dogs are like an extended member of the family. They're animals, but I have a dog too. I understand that there's a deep attachment here. And but we're going to get to the bottom of who this dog really belongs to by the end of this case today. But I have some very specific questions that I want to ask you. Because what you said, Ms. Morgan, in the beginning, and what you said, Mr. Fields, in the beginning, was really telling. When you got the dog, you said, we adopted this dog, Ms. Morgan. You did not say you said we. Both of you did. And when I went and I asked Mr. Fields that question, he said the same thing. He said we. So very early on, I think when you went to get the dog, you both decided to get this dog together. Now there's an issue of, well, who was really taking care of the dog? Who was, a lot of times the responsibility ends up falling on one person and not the other, but that doesn't necessarily mean that person is the true owner of the dog. So let's go specifically to the time where you break up, you go your separate ways, and how Biscuit ends up with Mr. Fields, because I'm sitting in court today and Biscuit is looking quite comfortable here with Mr. Fields, who he's been with for a while. So what happened? I'll start with you. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, we needed a little break, and she disappears and just leaves the dog. And then a couple days later, can you take care of the dog for a couple weeks until I can find a place? That turns into 4 or 5 weeks because I know she's out.
That's not true at all. I adore that dog. Do you know how hard it is to find an apartment that will take a dog? It takes a while.
Mr. Fields, now I don't need you coming into court exaggerating. Let's not add extraneous information to your testimony. I just want to know what's happening here.
Okay.
Tell me, Miss Morgan,
I'm sorry,
about
but I'm upset
Mr.
because
Fields. I want to hear from Miss Morgan.
yeah.
What is the exact conversation? Because he said you asked for 2 weeks and then you essentially disappear. What do you say the conversation was that happened between the two of you?
Coming up.
So your cell phone was not missing for a week. You're saying it was malfunctioning. You were getting every text message except the text messages from Miss Morgan asking for her dog back, according to her. Let me look at the evidence. Miss Morgan writes, hey, I'm looking for a pet-friendly apartment. Can you keep Biscuit for a couple of weeks just until I find a place? You say, yeah, sure, 2 weeks max. So at this point, you're not really that enthused about having Biscuit around more than 2 weeks. What do you say the conversation was that happened between the two of you?
I talked to him and I said, look, it's going to take me a little while to find an apartment. I know you can take care of the dog because he has gotten along with the dog. So that's not the question. And I just thought he's responsible. They'll have a nice time together. The dog will be safe. And it'll just buy me some more time so that I can find the appropriate apartment, which I did find. I found a place. They're pet friendly. It's great. There's even a little patch of grass in the back so Biscuit could be let out or go for a walk.
So did you go back to Mr. Fields
so
and say to him, hey, I found an apartment now? What happened?
Well, I tried to text him,
Yes,
Your
she
Honor,
did.
and he wouldn't respond. I mean, there's a whole text thread that I submitted to the court, so you can see everything that I typed up, and nothing. I don't get anything back. I mean, come on, Trey, what the heck? Where were you? Why wouldn't you respond to me?
It wasn't a matter of where was I, it was where was my cell phone, which was missing for a week. So
I'm sorry.
by the time I got back to
you're
you,
Not your cell phone missing for
Mr.
a week.
Mr. Fields,
it
Mr.
was
Fields.
missing for.
So you're telling the court that your cell phone was missing for a week. Just missing.
Yeah, yes, Your Honor. It was acting
Okay, so
crazy,
let's back up for a second,
I
Mr.
didn't get
Fields.
all the messages till the end of the
Again,
week,
I
and then
don't
there's
want
all
you
these
adding
messages.
extra facts into your testimony. So your cell phone was not missing for a week. You're saying it was malfunctioning. You were getting every text message except the text messages from Miss Morgan asking for her dog back, according to her. Let me look at the evidence Miss Morgan submitted to court.
I
Let's
wasn't
look at the
getting any
text
text
messages. I'm
messages
reviewing
for a
them
few
now, but I
days,
want
and
to pull them up. And Mr. Fields, you can verify if these are in fact the text between the two of you.
yeah.
Miss Morgan writes, hey, I'm looking for a pet-friendly apartment. Can you keep Biscuit for a couple of weeks just until I find a place? You say, yeah, sure, 2 weeks max. So at this point, you're not really that enthused about having Biscuit around more than 2 weeks, according to this. You say, thank you, I'll check in, of course.
Yeah, what was that about, Trey?
Well, at the end of the day, I was mad. I mean, you're leaving me, and you're leaving, you're taking the dog, which you'll then leave and put him in,
Trey,
treat him like a suitcase.
You're never home.
Neither are
You're never
you. And you
there.
know what? When I travel, he comes with me. When you travel, he gets put in a suitcase and handed off to the neighbors.
Okay, to come on one
So-
Let's finish
the dog has motion sickness. So
I
is
would
that,
like
is that
to
a bright
finish
idea?
reviewing the
He
evidence.
tosses his cookies in the car.
You respond, Miss Morgan, thank you, I'll check in.
Sorry.
Let's
Sorry.
forward
Go on.
to the messages you submitted from April 5th, a couple of weeks later. You write to Mr. Fields, hey, I found a place. I can come and get Biscuit this weekend. No response. According to Mr. Fields, this was the week his cell phone started acting funny. You keep you keep texting him, Trey, can you at least answer me? I need to pick him up. Trey, please answer me. According to him, he was having technological difficulties that week. Do you have any other evidence, either of you?
I mean, Your Honor, there's definitely
You can
some
check with my
evidence of
vet. Your
being
Honor,
over the top. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about your birthday party. That birthday party you put together was basically, it was a
Whose birthday
level,
party?
it was a wedding level production. I'm a planner. I'm a party planner.
Okay, Mr.
The
Fields,
dog,
what happened?
we threw
Biscuit,
a birthday party for Biscuit.
and
It was,
this turned
it was, look,
into photographer, DJ, photo booth, cakes, cupcakes, paw balloons.
oh,
It
Your
was
Honor,
over the top.
it was all in fun. We did it for, it's like you would put the pictures on social
I went
media.
along with the
It was just a
ride.
good
We did
time.
have
And
a
it was
good
a
time.
party. It was a party for our friends too and their dogs. I mean, it was just a really good time. Don't paint me like a crazy person just because I wanted to have a party
No,
for
the crazy
Biscuit.
came in when one little thing didn't go right.
Oh, yeah, he was
And
tasked with one thing, Your Honor, just one thing, get the
How?
cake. That's all he had to do was get the cake.
I got the cake. Well, listen, Your Honor, what happened was I went to go pick up the cake. I did forget to get it earlier that day, so she reminded me about a half hour out. I got the cake. I get to the bakery, and it says, "Happy birthday, Brandon." Now, she called the order in, so I don't know if she messed it up or they messed it up or whatever. But it was
Mess
gonna
it
take an
up?
hour to get the
Miss
cake
Morgan?
redone. So I
You
said,
just took the
"Just give
first
me
cake
some
they had
frosting.
available.
Give me some frosting. I'm gonna scrape Brandon off, and I'm gonna put Biscuit on there." And I brought the cake with the wrong name in and I was getting ready to do that when she pulls the cake out and then decides to throw me under the bus in front of all our friends about, "Look
You
what
want to
Trey
correct
did,"
Brandon into Biscuit. They don't even have the
because
same letters.
and the dog can't read, and the cake tastes the same. So what's
Well, I'm
really,
Mr.
Biscuit, did you like
That's
your
not the
cake?
point, Trey.
Did you
See,
like
this
your
is one of
cake?
the reasons I can't be with him. This is irresponsible,
Hmm.
is what this is. The man's an event planner, and he can't do one little task
An
for
event
a
planner that you
party.
won't trust me to have planned your dog's wedding party.
It's not a wedding party. Come
It
on,
was like a
and
wedding
some
party.
hop into the
and at the end
exaggeration
of the
train.
day,
That's not
poor
that's not what
Brandon,
this is about.
somewhere
This
there's
is
an 8-year-old kid who didn't get a
Sorry,
cake
Your
for
Honor.
his birthday. If this moment had you talking to the screen, wait until you see the rest of the cases. On my Virtual Justice channel, I go live every week to break it all down and share brand new episodes. Scan the code now to join me.
Coming up,
Ms. Morgan, you have your witness here today, Biscuit's vet. Why have you chosen to come and testify in this case?
When it comes to the quality of life and the welfare of the animal, separation anxiety sets in. This can manifest in a number of ways. The loss of hair on the pet, malnourishment, where the pet stops eating, they can become aggressive in certain cases. But I believe this is something that can happen.
So the two of you have had some ups and downs in your relationship, clearly. And now, after this breakup has happened, the real remaining issue is what happens with the dog. Now, I will say it's very interesting. She texted you in March and she asked you, I'm looking at the text messages, to keep Biscuit and watch Biscuit for 2 weeks while she found an apartment. Your response is actually pretty telling because you agree to that. You don't argue with her and say, what do you mean keep Biscuit for 2 weeks? He's my dog. I want him. What's going on here? No, you say 2 weeks. In fact, you take it another level and you say 2 weeks max. 2 weeks max. You won't keep Biscuit a day past 2 weeks. But now we're in court and you're arguing about you being the rightful owner.
exactly.
Your
Ma'am?
Honor, I was
Mind you,
very
Your Honor, he's
upset.
got a shrine to the dog. I just want my dog back. I just want my dog back.
Ms. Morgan, your last piece of evidence, you have your witness here today. You say he is Biscuit's vet,
Yes, Your Honor.
Dr. Sam Cole. Hi, doctor. Thank you so much for being here. Can you tell me
Yes,
a
Your
little bit
Honor.
about your professional background?
I've treated Biscuit since he was 10 weeks old. And in that time, he's always had great checkups. There's never been any problem. I normally don't get involved in situations like this, but when it comes to the quality of life and the welfare of the animal, I felt I should give my opinion.
Well, let me ask you something. I want to see the vet records you submitted to court. Can we show those now? Okay, those are the vet records. It has Miss Layla Morgan as Biscuit's caretaker. Biscuit is 4 years old and is a terrier, okay? And you verified those records are from your office. You said you don't normally get involved, so why have you chosen to come and testify in this case?
What we have seen in the past with other pets that are separated from their initial pet parents is separation anxiety sets in. This can manifest in a number of ways. The loss of hair on the pet, um, malnourishment, where the pet stops eating, they can become aggressive in certain cases, and it takes a while for that to actually manifest when they're relocated to the new home. So it may not be showing right now, but I believe this is something that can happen.
Okay, Dr. Colin, you are aware that Mr. Fields was also living in the home, so that Biscuit is not separated with someone that he has no prior relationship or history with. Correct, sir?
That is correct, Your Honor. However, removing Biscuit from the familiar environment is what I'm more concerned with, not necessarily the fact that he doesn't know Mr. Fields.
And you have not seen, just so I'm clear, the things that you mentioned in terms of how he could possibly react. You have not seen that, but you're saying that it just may not have manifested yet.
Correct. Mr. Fields has not brought Biscuit back in for an examination since he has been in his custody, so I'm not able to determine how he is faring at this point.
Okay. But according to you, you came to testify today that the registered owner on vet files is actually Miss Morgan.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Cole. I appreciate you coming into court today.
And Your Honor, the reason why I haven't brought Mr. Biscuit in is because he's up to date on his shots. And honestly, we don't need to have a vet appointment for another 6 or 8 months.
Yeah,
So there's
because
no
who did
reason.
that? I did that. I'm the one
Uh-uh.
that did that. I brought the dog in for the shots.
Yeah, you
I
did
bring
that,
the
and then you
dog in
paid
for the
for it, and then you
checkup.
didn't pay the car payment. So
That's
I
oh,
understand how
The car payment, I'm so glad you said, because I'm gonna make my ruling now. I'm going to make my ruling now, but the crux of this case, because I read your answer, Mr. Fields, and you said something that really struck me and brought things to my attention. You were very disappointed when your relationship with Miss Morgan ended, and you felt like she was leaving, and now she's taking she wants to take the one thing that keeps the two of you connected away from you. I reviewed all the evidence. I've heard all the testimony, but there's one thing that strikes me. There's one piece of evidence that I think tilts the scales because, when we talk about the scales of justice, it's all about the balancing act and hearing the evidence and making a determination as to which way the evidence points, like what is the actual truth in the case. I have no doubt, Mr. Fields and Miss Morgan, you both have a loving relationship with Biscuit. You're watching a 2-week preview of Virtual Justice with Judge Faith. The full season continues on my Fireside channel with brand new cases, shocking verdicts, and weekly live Q&As with me. Don't miss it. Subscribe now. There's one thing that stands out to me in this case. There's one piece of evidence that I think actually tilts the scales and is very revealing to me. And it is the text message from March 12th when Miss Morgan asks you that she's looking for a pet-friendly apartment for Biscuit and she needs a couple of weeks. Can you watch him for 2 weeks max? See, your response to that is not, no, because this is my dog too. Where are my rights? When is he going to live with me? We need to discuss this further. There is no reaction other than, yeah, sure. You totally agree with it. Totally. This is not the time to interrupt me, sir. You totally agree with it.
Sorry, Your Honor.
You're totally on board with it. And you even tell her The maximum amount of time that you will keep Biscuit is for 2 weeks. That tells me in your mind then you knew this dog was to stay with Miss Morgan. You knew it then and you know it now. And you cannot keep this dog as a way to keep the two of you connected. That's not how relationships work and breakups work. If you want to stay connected with Miss Morgan, then stay connected in other ways, but it can't be by holding the dog hostage and holding it over her head. Well, you know you agreed to 2 weeks max. And when she writes you back, lo and behold, all of a sudden, you're having technological difficulties that week with your cell phone and the messages aren't coming through. Based on the text evidence alone, her words and yours, I don't have to read between the lines. I'm ordering you to return Biscuit to Miss Morgan. That is my judgment. That is my ruling. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Disaster.